Greetings, Cap fans. It's episode 257 of the Captain America Comic Book Fans Podcast. Hey, this is Rick Verbanis. I'm your host, and I've got a co host. He's the best gosh darn one out there. You know his name. It's Bob Lucius. Oh, Bob. La, 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 la. La 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 la. Figaro, 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 Figaro.
Nice. I don't know if this is from Bugs Bunny or Mrs. Doubtfire.
Well, actually, yeah, it is from Bugs Bunny. It was the Rabbit of Seville,
Okay.
which came out in 1950. Do you know what it's a parody of?
The Barber of Seville.
Yes, the Barber of Seville.
Yeah.
Yes, by Rossini. Yeah. So, why am I greeting you with an opera, Bob?
I don't know. Just
All right.
maybe to show it to demonstrate your range.
Oh no, I didn't
No.
really, I didn't really warm up my vocal cords on that one, my friend. I apologize to the listeners and all of the dogs in the background.
Yeah.
No, you know what? I'm, I'm just gonna let you figure it out during the issue we're covering today.
Okay. All right.
How's that fair?
All right. That's fair. That's
All
fair.
right.
Yeah.
Maybe you know what? All of the not the listeners, but the viewers, right? That maybe
Yeah.
are watching on YouTube or watching on Spotify, and just wait for the light bulb to go off over Bob's head.
All right. I can't wait. Yeah. I've
Yeah.
studied this. I've studied this issue intently.
Did you now?
Oh, absolutely. So I'm
Mm.
surprised it's not jumping out at me, but
Mm.
maybe that light bulb will appear.
Yeah. Bob? You know, I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah.
What issue are we covering tonight?
It's 184, Rick.
No. Which one are we covering, Bob?
183.
Yes.
Yes.
Woo. All right.
The fact that you believed for a second that I believed it was 184 is really the story of the day. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not,
well,
like that.
I didn't actually. I just figured you just forgot the number because you're bad at numbers. But
yeah.
It wouldn't just surprise me though.
No, not at all. Wouldn't have surprised me either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bob, if people are listening to this episode on the day it comes out, it is September 10th. Where did the summer go, Bob?
Right. Leaves are turning someplace already.
Yeah, I guess so.
Right. Yeah. No, I know. Summer went to it seemed like it was June, early June. And next thing I know, I wake up and the summer's gone.
Probably because we record 4 weeks in advance, Bob.
Oh, that's why. Yeah. I thought I was in who's the guy? Henley. What's his name?
Don Henley.
Don Henley, The Boys of Summer. That's, I feel like, summer's out of reach, right? Empty sand, empty
true.
beach.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it is actually September 10th when you're listening to this, yeah, it is technically still summer, but I kind of consider it fall. Personally.
Yeah. Yeah. It's after Labor Day, right? I mean, you can't wear white pants anymore.
You sure can't, but you can wear those white shoes, Bob, that you love so much with the white belt.
All year long.
Yeah.
All year long. Patent leather never goes out of style.
I know I've mentioned this before, but after 250 episodes, I can't remember how long ago. But I look at the seasons not by dates, but by months, right?
Mm-hmm.
So winter, in my mind.
Yeah.
December, January, February.
Yeah, makes sense.
Spring, March, April, May.
Yeah.
Summer, June, July, August.
Yeah.
Fall, September, October, November. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
In my mind.
But you don't need the solstices or equinoxes or any of those things, right?
No,
just go with the months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Simplify.
I'm curious how many other people think of the seasons in that way.
I gotta think most do, right? I mean, the dates are so they seem so arbitrary, right? I mean, it's like June what is it, 21st or something?
24th. Yeah, I have no
Yeah,
idea.
something
I don't know.
ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
how is that the cutoff for some? I know, astronomically speaking, but it just doesn't make sense. It's not practical,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
What's your favorite season, Bob?
Oh gosh, well, we don't have any here, but there
In
are
Florida,
there's
in
are
southern Florida, you
yeah,
really
there
don't.
are 2 weeks just around the end of January, beginning of February, when I can wear flannels.
Mm-hmm.
So I do keep them out for that purpose, but generally, I'm a fall guy.
Why?
I like the cool, crisp air. I like wearing my flannels and my thermal tees.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like sweating all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I just like that. I like Halloween's like my favorite holiday, and I
Well,
like
I know you do it big at your
I
house.
do I like mulled cider. I like all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
apple pies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And how about yourself? What's your
Oh, it's summer.
summer?
I'm a beach guy. I'm a
Yeah.
hot weather guy. I'm a pool guy. I'm a Caribbean music Jimmy
Uh huh.
Buffett kind of
Oh, right.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my season. I so fall, I don't mind fall
Yeah.
only because God gave us football. It it's
Right.
like all of a sudden you're back at school, if you're that age or you got kids back at school, you're back into that routine. The weather's getting colder, things are starting to go. I'm like, winter's coming. I don't want to get all Game of Thrones or anything, but winter's coming, like that. It's so, you got that,
Yeah.
so it's like, thank God we have football,
Yeah. Huh.
because it's my favorite sport.
Yeah.
I think of it 365 days a year. And, we now have the NFL,
Yeah.
and the Eagles and Cowboys just kicked off the NFL season on Thursday Night Football, and I have no idea who won because it's not, what I mean, like, but anyway,
Right.
but
Yeah.
hopefully
Yeah.
I'm in a good mood right now.
Yeah. Hopefully you are. You seem to be. So I mean, that's a good omen.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Gosh, it seems like you should be living in Florida and I should be living elsewhere.
100%.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Well, it's not necessarily out of the picture. Over the next few years, my wife and I are going to be looking at someplace south. She doesn't want to go to Florida, but I
Mm.
think I think we could talk about like northern Florida, like
Yeah.
Jacksonville or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, or the Carolinas or something like that. So we'll be looking at that over the
Mm,
next few years
mm-hmm,
because
mm-hmm.
now the kids are basically out of the house.
Yeah.
Nothing really tying me here anymore
Yeah. Now
except the job.
yeah, that the money thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
You are, I'm assuming, a sandy beach sort of guy.
as opposed to.
Well, like we have beaches here. Like I am minutes from the beach, like
Hmm.
5 minutes, down the street by car. And but it's like one of those really wide, like white sand beaches,
Mm.
with
Hmm.
turquoise blue water. And like not my
And you
thing.
never go.
I hate it. Yeah, not my thing.
Oh
Right.
God.
I'm like Anakin Skywalker. There's like way too much sand.
Oh,
I'm like, why do I got? It's like I got to walk a half mile. There's so much sand sometimes.
uh-huh. Hmm.
Before we moved here to Florida, we lived in Pacific Grove, California, on the Monterey Peninsula, where
Hmm.
the beach, you needed like a wetsuit to go in the water. The water was so cold, but it was rocky and like tidal pools with all kinds of like crabs and seaweed and
Hmm.
mist. That's my idea of a beach. I love that. I could just spend hours out there
Really?
along through the tide pools. Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely love that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I am a sandy as opposed to rocky beach kind of guy. Um, Definitely,
All
if
right.
you, my idea of vacation is my ass in a chair, my toes in the sand,
Mm-hmm.
a drink in my hand, and some Caribbean tunes on the steel drums. Like,
And your Marvel Unlimited as you do your research for right, the Cap Fantasy
yeah.
draft.
Well,
Yeah.
great that you mentioned that because next episode is the Captain America comic book fantasy draft number 5. And so we're going to have a couple guests join the show, and the four of us are going to be doing that. Yeah, but yeah, during my week's vacation with the kids and my wife at the Jersey Shore, I was busy preparing for that draft as well as my fantasy football draft. So that's see to me, like, August is my favorite month.
Yeah.
August is my favorite month because it's the hottest month, and there's vacations, and there's fantasy football, and then you've got like all that. It's like the perfect storm of great stuff.
Right, right. Yeah. And plus, you have all those memories in your head that, like, it's almost time to go back to school. This is the last hurrah of summer, right?
Mm,
Remember that? Like, you're like, gotta
yeah.
go, gotta get my new kicks or whatever at Marshall's, and and get ready to go.
All
Yeah.
right, so let me tell you, I didn't get kicks because I have wide feet,
Oh, okay.
and I have to get sneakers and shoes and everything in like extra wide, double wide.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, yeah.
You're like a hobbit, for crying out loud.
I've been called that. Yes. So especially back when I had more hair on my body.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so when I was a kid, the only place that you could get were these sneakers called Zips. And so imagine a Z on the side of your sneaker.
Yeah.
Like right now, you turn it sideways. Hey, it's a New Balance, right? Whatever. No,
Right.
no. This was a Z.
Yeah.
Everybody else had the Nikes and the Adidas and the
Right.
Reeboks and all the popular sneakers at the time. And I had Zips.
Zips.
Hmm.
Wow. Do they still make those?
I don't think so.
You
No,
know? No, that's a
no.
shame.
I had to go to a particular store that only carried Zips, and it was Buster Brown.
Buster Brown. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember the Buster Brown chain. Right.
Hmm.
Well, I'm going to be looking for some zips on eBay. I can assure you that. So Christmas is
Well,
coming.
you know what? I want to hear from my extra wide feet brethren out there. Anybody else out there who has that lot in life where you have to get extra wide shoes? It's not easy,
I
Bob.
bet. No, I
Yeah,
can
you can't
imagine.
just walk into a shoe store and be like, and
Yeah.
they're like, here,
Dress shoes got to be like a real issue, you know?
yeah, like yeah. Here's the two pair you could pick from. Is
Right.
essentially,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I I had to go to an event. I had to go to an event. I graduated from the leadership program back in May or something, and
I can really tell it's really rubbed off on you, Bob.
it really has. Yeah, and I had to get all dressed up. So I don't like to get dressed up anymore, but I do have some suits, and yeah, they're 20 years old, but whatever, right? I had them tailored in Hong Kong or whatever, and I look good in a suit, right? So, but the shoes apparently in the heat down here didn't fare so well. And so
Mm.
the minute I stepped out of my car to go into the wherever this venue was, the heel fell off one of my shoes. Like the whole bottom just fell off, right?
Oh
Yeah,
no.
and I like had nothing, right? So I call my wife because she was going to join me there, and I'm like, "Hey, you got to stop at like Marshalls or something and get me a pair of shoes."
I would have
And
told my wife just bring super glue.
yeah, I really wanted to go home. I was trying to like get out of it and just like go home, and she wasn't going to let me. So she's like, "No, no, no, I'll stop." So she stops at Marshalls, and like I take a size like 12, and like she gets like the only size 12 dress shoe, and these were like the most atrocious. Like, that's it, one choice, that's
Mm-hmm.
what you're wearing, and you're going to stay for the whole 3 hours, so deal with it. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
How'd it work
looked
out?
like I had zoot suit shoes on. They were like crazy, like curved in the front, like I was some sort of like Middle Eastern prince or something.
I bet
Yeah.
that was a riot.
Yeah. So
Somebody caught that.
yeah.
All right, Bob. Well, should we get to today's issue?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because I don't know about you, but I have been like just waiting to see this particular issue because in episode 253, we covered Nomad Part 7, which was Captain America 182. So now we're doing Part 8. This is 8 issues now where Steve Rogers has not been Captain America. That's a long time in the comic book world. But if you remember last issue, the Red Skull showed up.
He did in that final page,
Yeah.
and a big splash. Yeah.
Yeah. And he captured Roscoe, goo, 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 and the Falcon.
Yes.
And
Yes. What
and
a
so
cliffhanger.
what? Yeah, right. We've been waiting for this.
Mhm.
So
New Vitamin Water Zero Sugar Pineapple Passion Fruit is packed with vitamins, just like the amount of peas we packed in that sentence. It's packed like your tote bag, the one you stole from your ex, or your overpriced half a studio apartment, or extra rushed rush hour traffic. Packed like your calendar. Triple booked at 5, of course. Grab a vitamin water. Did we mention it's packed with vitamins?
Raise the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an Enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. Start converting your B2B audience today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started today at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
I guess we'll get to 183, Captain America. Do you want to take our listeners through the cover?
Yeah. Well, spoiler alert, Rick, right here on the cover, right? We see we're on a rooftop. And right there, close to the reader in the foreground, we see, well, I gotta break the bad news. That looks like it's old Roscoe, and he doesn't look like he's in good shape. And he is tied to a chimney. And his uniform is torn up, and he looks bad. I mean, I don't know if he's injured here, could be dead. I guess we'll find out. But it does say "Death of a Hero" on the cover, so really, it's telegraphing something here. But in the background, we see the Falcon, we see Red Wing, and we see Steve Rogers in his Nomad costume, and both Sam and Steve are standing there. Man, looking dejected, right? They are looking down, and they are both sad, and like you could tell how upset they are here. And then, of course, Red Wing is flying over them. So, man, it's this issue. If you see this on the rack, Rick, what are you going to do? Are you going to turn away from this issue, Rick? I don't think so. Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. And the art on this one is done by Gil Kane and Joe Sinnott. And you can tell it's Gil Kane.
The Wings.
It's like you don't listen to me.
No, I know I don't.
Yeah. Look at Roscoe's nose.
Oh, right. Yeah. What nose is that? Now that you mention it.
Well, that's a Gil Kane nose.
Okay.
Because he likes to do underneath the nose.
Yeah.
So you see the nostrils. You see.
Yeah.
You see, and the way that's done. Yeah. So.
Okay. I need to get
maybe the next time we do a Gil Kane cover, you'll remember that.
Maybe I will.
Maybe
I will. Probably not. Probably not.
This had a cover date of March 1975, but it did come out in early December of 74. So that was December 10th. And the creators are the creators we've been seeing, right? So we have writer Steve Englehart, penciler Frank Robbins. This is his second issue on Captain America. Inked by Frank Giacoia, colorist Dan Goldberg, letterer Tom Orzechowski, editor Len Wein. And opening up to the giant splash page. And the title to this one is, Bob?
Nomad. No more.
And, okay, what we're seeing here is Steve Rogers in his Nomad identity. And for those who haven't been attending any of these Nomad issues, it's a blue and yellow costume that has a large opening on his chest down to his abs.
It's a plunging neckline, Rick.
You like a plunging neckline?
Yeah, let's just call it what it is.
The mask shows his hair, and his blonde hair is kind of wavy and tousled. But the rest of his costume could be a Captain America costume with the pants, the boots, the gloves. But they're just a different color. Instead of red, the gloves and the boots and the belt are yellow. And he's on a rooftop. I think it's late at night, or maybe it's dusk. The background on my copy is pink. And who the heck is he fighting, Bob?
It looks like he's in a chicken coop.
How would you describe these characters that he's battling?
All right. Well, this guy's the gamecock, right?
No, we don't know his name.
Oh,
yet.
I'm sorry. You're right. We don't know the name yet. Good catch, Rick. But he looks like a chicken.
This is the first appearance of this character.
It is, yeah. So he's dressed like a chicken. So he's got the same color costume. Really, it's sort of like a midnight blue, skin tight costume with sort of orange briefs. And then on his hands, he's got gloves, but those gloves look like they end not in fingers but in claws, like you would see on a bird, or like a raptor, right? And he's got red boots with some frilly yellow feather looking attachments to them. And then the headpiece really is the strangest thing, particularly on the leader, we assume, of the three that Steve is fighting, because it looks like a rooster head with an opening for the face. And then the two compadres here that are fighting with this guy, they've got a similar costume, not quite as fancy, doesn't have the clawed gloves, and they're wearing
clawed boots,
and they are wearing what are known as apple caps, big apple caps.
You and your cap names. There's watch caps. There's apple caps.
These are big apple caps, Rick. They're sort of a like a newsboy cap, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Yes. So you're absolutely right. Great description, and it's a pretty ridiculous looking costume.
It is. Yeah.
No, faithful reader, you haven't missed an issue. This is exactly what we promised you last month. What our title promises you now. Another classic. It's the carefully constructed companion piece to Captain America and the Falcon 176, the latest landmark in the life of today's most together hero. And it comes courtesy of, and then it gets into the creators. Although I like for Tom Orzechowski, instead of saying letter, it says calligraphy. He probably did that for himself.
That's fancy. Yeah.
So let's join the Nomad, now back in New York, and see what's coming down. So we turn the page, and Steve is punching and throwing and kicking. Back off, Black Hook. I have no quarrel with you, but I do now. What have you done with the Falcon? Okay, Bob. As I mentioned previously, this is the first appearance of this character ever. Okay?
Yep.
So I read this and I thought, oh, Steve knows the character's name, and the character's name is Black Hook. Okay. But then we find out it's not, it's Gamecock. Why is he calling him Black Hook?
I have no idea. Is he referring to a particular kind of beer? I don't know.
Well, I mean, he has these claws on his gloves that can look like a hook, I suppose. And the characters are black. Is he being slightly racist here?
I don't know what other interpretation there could be. I thought maybe it was, maybe this was some sort of, nickname or something that people called fighters or something, or criminals in the 70s, but I can find no reference to it. So it's, Occam's razor would say, yeah, I don't know what's going on here, but.
Yeah. So, we'll just skip over that.
All right.
Yeah.
somebody wiser than us, I'm sure, will know the origin of this this nickname. So,
Let's go with that.
yeah.
So Steve asks, "What have you done with the Falcon?" And this character replies, "Ask rather what I would have done to him if he had been here when we arrived, Mama's boy. We seek him also. No, upon further consideration, you need not ask. You can feel his fate at the claws of the gamecock."
Oh, there it is. There it is. Sorry, I spoiled it earlier.
I gotta say, not only is the costume absolutely ridiculous, and it's like they're running out of animals to
Yeah, right.
to to emulate, right? We've got
Yeah.
all the snakes, we got all the cats, we got spiders, we got sharks, we got, all these dangerous things, and then you have a gamecock.
Yeah. It's I don't really want to go here, but the idea of of cockfighting. I mean, if you've
Mhm.
ever like if, I'm sure you haven't seen, but if you've ever read
Not in
about
person. Yeah.
like what those events are like,
Hmm.
and how they tie razor blades to the the claws of the
Yeah.
roosters, and they fight. I mean, it's bloody, it's violent, it's just horrendous, right? But they
Somebody
had,
call PETA.
yeah, well, exactly, right. And they had, I do remember, like in California where I lived in the Salinas Valley, they had a lot of cockfighting, activities going on. They do in Florida, and generally, it's in poor immigrant communities, and
Hmm.
so it's not as far fetched, maybe as it seems
Hmm.
superficially, right? If you sort of know the history and the cultural antecedents
Yeah.
of cockfighting, and so here we are with the gamecock,
Hmm.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. I heard. I mean, yeah, you're right. I've never seen it in person. I've heard about it. I tried to actually do my due diligence for this particular episode and do some research to see if I could see any kind of biographies on cockfighting, and it was not the movie I was thinking I was going to get.
Yeah. It wasn't YouTube, it was something hub. Yeah, I know.
So coming up behind Steve are the two hoodlums that are with Gamecock, and they're pulling back his arms, they're kicking him in the lower back, they're basically pushing him towards Gamecock as he comes down with those razors, clawing at Steve's shirt, creating these tears on the front. Because, we didn't see enough of Steve's torso before, so we needed more. Ah, his boys nearly pushed me right into that one. But the Nomad's no pushover. No way! And he takes and he flips the two of them into Gamecock. Now, the gamecock brings his fall up short, digging his claws deep into the roof's loose tar and gravel. He is a game fighter, for sure. But neither he nor the nomad is aware of a third combatant, hidden on an adjacent rooftop. What do we see, Bob?
Well, we don't see the individual's face, but we see what looks to be a green uniform of some sort and a helmet. And what we see pointing away from this guy and presumably towards Steve and Gamecock and his fellow fighters, looks like a bazooka, Rick.
It does. It does. And I recognize it from G.I. Joe.
There it is.
Now,
Yeah,
G.I. Joe, do you remember the guy who carried around the bazooka?
I do not.
He was one of the original G.I. Joes with, Scarlet and Snake Eyes and Hawk and Clutch and Rock and Roll, Breaker, all those original guys. His name was Zap.
Zap,
Yeah, he carried
not
around the
zip.
bazooka.
That's the sneakers. This is
Right.
Zap. Yeah.
So we are doing zips and zaps in this episode, Bob. And then we turn to or next page, I should say, and imagine their surprise. And then we see the bazooka fire a missile over onto the roof uh, right between Steve and Gamecock and his crew.
Boom. Wham.
Now, the boom was the sound of the bazooka, and you can see the exhaust coming from the other end.
There is a contrail behind that projectile for sure.
What the? Who's shooting at us from over there? He came closer to Gamecock than me. Oh, by the way, Steve saying what the? Okay. Uh, we all know what the next word is, right?
Yeah, heck. What the
Right.
heck? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So when my kids were little,
Yeah.
I guess because kids emulate what they see and hear,
Yeah.
right? And so they're watching shows on like Disney Channel or whatever, and the kids on there be like, "What the," and then
Yeah.
and then that's all they would say. They would just say that.
Yeah.
They would never say the next word.
Right.
And my kids were emulating that, and I was like, "Don't say that." They're like, "Why? Why not? It's nothing wrong with that." I'm like, "Because the next word is bad word." So if you get used to saying that, eventually you're going to say the bad word. So don't say what the.
Or you could have just messed with them and told them, look, if you're gonna say it, say the whole thing. It's what the hillbilly. And then when they're out with their friends and they're like, what the hillbilly? They're like, people are like, what are you talking about?
What the fudge?
What the fudge? Right. Yeah. Just throw that stuff in. Lay those seeds for later blooming.
Mm-hmm. So Steve does the what the comment. He came closer to Gamecock than me. Then it must be the law, wouldn't you say, boy? I fear no man, but I know when I'm outmatched. We shall meet again, Nomad. Right on, boss. And they jump from one building to the next, which really impresses Steve. Wow, they leapt to the far roof from a standing start. Their legs must be pure muscle. I can't catch them. And the funny thing is, they're wrong about the bazooka blaster being law. He's taken a good head start on me, too. I lost him, for now. But it's definitely right on they'll both meet me again. All of a sudden, it seems I have two more important reasons for finding Falk than to let him meet the Nomad. Where can he be? And how did he make so many enemies? Hey, you! There's a voice coming from behind him. And we turn the page, and who is it, Bob?
Oh my gosh, it's Layla.
Layla.
Foxy Mama.
Yeah, it is. What's she wearing, Bob?
She is wearing some hip hugger, low riding purple pants and a very revealing lime green halter top with a turtleneck.
Yeah, because she looks chill.
Yeah, she does. She does.
Yeah.
And she's got some big old hoop earrings too.
Yeah. Somebody. Oh, it's only. No, the Nomad never met Layla. If you can stop stuttering for a sec, great white hero, you can wrap down your interest in my man. Yeah, I was scoping the whole scene just now. Didn't see no reason to get messed up in it. But if all you dudes are looking for Falk, I want to know why. 'Cause he's been missing for 3 days now. 3 days? Miss, I just this morning got in from Seattle. Shoot, I don't know if you're jiving me or not. But if you're not, then what's happened to him? He ain't been seen since he ran off with that kid Captain America. Kid Captain America? Who the devil is she talking about? Hey, what are you, man? A parrot or something? All you do is repeat what I say. You freakers are all alike. I thought maybe if you really wanted to find Falk, you'd help me out. But you stop caring about him when you hear Captain America's missing. You're wrong, miss, and he jumps away. You're dead wrong. I will find Falk or know the reason why. And as he's traveling from rooftop to rooftop, of course, there's always the chance Sam and the Cap are off on a case somewhere. But all this activity around him sounds ominous. I'll check his office. Huh, that crowd's making a lot of noise. I wonder what's up. And who do we see down there, Bob?
Wow. Well, it is a young man and he is standing up on some, I don't know what it is. Looks like a bunch of ruined equipment that they have piled up because there's somewhat of a crowd there, and they're all carrying signs that say things like "Remember the Serpent Squad," "Protest Murder." So these appear to be some folks that are supporters of the Serpent Squad, and he's riling them up even further.
Yeah, they have power to the people, mourn our heroes. Cops murdered the Viper and tried to off the Cobra, brothers and sisters. They hounded the Serpent Squad for daring to kidnap a corporate pig, trapped them into a burning house, and sent their undercover man, the so-called Nomad, in to make sure the valiant Viper died. I say they won't get away with it. I say we carry on the Serpent Squad's mission and crush the corporate insect. Good Lord, it's already started. The very thing the Viper predicted. The building of a legend around her to inspire others to the goals she pretended to espouse. And they're calling me a vigilante? Just the way the Committee to Regain American Principles did. And he jumps down there. Hold on a minute. You don't know the whole story. Look out, it's the main Fink himself. He's come to wipe us out, too. He killed our sister. Get him. And we turn the page, and they all start pile driving them, Bob. There's like, at least
They're jumping all over him.
eight different people here, right? Hey, wait, there's no need for violence. Sure, just like with the Viper. This is for her, Nomad. I wish I had her superpowers. And she's ripping his uniform even more as they're holding him back. Blast it, what's the matter with you people? I came here to talk to you. Just talk. But all you want to do is fight. If you'd let me talk, you might have learned we have nothing to fight about. The fighting's too much fun, huh? Bull. Now, during all this, Bob, he's pushing and smacking and punching them away. That doesn't seem like a Steve thing to do.
He seems very agitated, right? I mean, bull. What? That's not his language, right? But he's very concerned about Falcon now, and this new Cap guy. He doesn't know what's going on, right? And then he sees this going on, and people are jumping all over him. So he's starting to lose his cool a little bit. It seems
He is. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
If you knew what fighting was really like, but then you don't want to learn anything from me, wow. Tone it down a little, Steve. The days when you were a symbol to anyone are long gone. You're your own man now, responsible only for yourself. You were the one who asked, how can people trust heroes anymore, and how can I blame them? That's the way things are today. And then this next page, he's at Steve's office, and he lowers himself down, looking through the window. Lips clamped, somber, the Nomad wanders on across the Harlem skyline. This encounter unsettles him, even more, somehow, than the one with Gamecock. He doesn't like that much. Sam's office. No different from the day I left for Washington. This would seem a logical place to check for clues, but I'll bet there's nothing at all for me here. Good morning, Figaro. Your bowl looks pretty dry.
Oh, Sam's cat. Figaro.
Viewers, did you see the light bulb go off?
Meow.
I figured you, cat lover,
I
cat
know,
owner,
I know.
right?
Right. Yeah.
Steve picks up the cat and he's petting him. I'll rustle you some grub. Whoop, there's somebody at the door. Locked. Let me have the pigs. Breaking and entering, and before business hours, too. Well, he opens up the door to surprise him. You're in for surprise. Huh? Gabe Jones and Peggy? Looks like S.H.I.E.L.D. looks out again, Peg. Hi, you're the Nomad, if our reports from Seattle and elsewhere are to be believed. What are you doing in Sam Wilson's office? She's fallen into Shield's routine fast. I wonder if I should tell her I was Cap. No, I'm not telling anybody that, for the record. I was asked to look into Wilson's disappearance. Us too, and we don't need any help. Perhaps when you credit yourself, Shield could take you into its confidence, as we have other heroes, Nomad. But until then, I'm persona non grata. I get the picture. And he takes off out the window, just like those Roxxon guards. We don't need any help. Sounds like Steve's kind of feel a little down. Like,
Yes.
he doesn't get the respect that he's used to getting as Nomad.
Yeah, a little bit of a third wheel in the whole process now.
It's amazing. That mask that Steve was wearing
Yeah.
completely blew away Peggy Carter in her ability to recognize him.
Yeah, didn't the hair, the chin, the nose, the lips, none of those rang a bell.
Well, she doesn't see Cap's hair with his mask, but you're right for the rest, right?
Right, yeah.
Everything from the nose down is the same. The eyes are the same.
That's true. The voice is the same.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping my secret keeps everyone from knowing they're not dealing with a novice. But okay, that's a price I have to pay. And I don't think there was anything there anyway. Besides, I have plenty of other leads, like Morgan, the guy who put a price on Sam's life. Fury knows Sam's the Falcon, which is why he sent his agents in. So he probably knows all about the Falcon's enemies. But if I'm gone before his agents show up, they can't throw me out. And he goes to the roof of Morgan's building and he looks down the skylight. And then he breaks through, Bob.
He does. He does break through. Thank goodness for these skylights.
Mm-hmm.
People must do like glass people must do an amazing business in places like New York City, repairing skylight glass panels.
Yes, the Marvel 616 glass repair unit. Now let's hope these guys can't do it either. It's that Nomad dude. Blast him. Now, men, you're just put off by my unusual entrance, but I hear your boss is hard to see, and nobody's cooperating with me this morning, so I figured to cut the red tape. And he starts piling through and throwing and kicking and punching 5 different guys. So much for crediting myself with the hood. Now, and he grabs Morgan, who's behind his desk on the phone. All right, Morgan, what have you done with the Falcon? Hands off, bud. I'm a big man in this city, see? And I'm fed up to here with small-timers trying to push me around. You may have muscles, small-timer, but I've got power like you only know in dreams. And he goes to smack him, but Nomad grabs his right hand. I'm impressed. And I repeat, where's the Falcon? And he slaps it away. If I knew that, Nomad, I wouldn't have sent the Gamecock and his brood over to kill him. You sent them? You admit that? I'll deny it under oath, small-timer. But in my own office, I'll admit it. You're wasting your time here. I will get the Falcon. If he's not with me, he's against me. But I don't have him now. Just like Falk always said, you make sense in your own warped way, Morgan. But after I find him, we'll both be back for you. The next page, we see Nomad again going rooftop to rooftop. Well, there goes my plenty of other leads. What do I do now? Layla, Morgan, his office. What else do I really know about Sam? He was beginning to get into black pride. Maybe if he were in trouble, if he suspected he might disappear and didn't have a partner to tell. Wait a minute. There's another disturbance down on the street. And he jumps down. What's the problem, people? You mean you haven't heard? They found a hole in the bank wall over the weekend, hero. And when they checked, they found all the money had been replaced with counterfeit. All of it. counterfeit. Why would anyone do that? And then leave a hole in the wall to tip people off. Who knows? Who cares? We're wiped out, hero. All our savings are gone. No, they're not. Don't you know that all accounts are insured up to $20,000 by the government? Hey, yeah. I have heard that. Hey, yeah. So everything's okay then. And he runs off. Unless they were taking place on a grand scale. Things might get nasty in that case. But again, only one thing dominates the Nomad's mind this crisp December morn. So he continues to roof it towards his previous destination of Times Square and Luke Cage's theater office. Cage's color is a very slim.
Yep.
I don't think I
that's
caught
what
this the first time I read
That's
it.
what it says.
Cage's color is a very slim lead, but it's all I can do to come up with right now. So what? All black heroes know each other?
Apparently.
Dear God, Englehart, what the heck is going
Oh
on?
my goodness.
It was 74, right?
So
When he wrote it, yeah.
Yeah.
So he goes up to this theater and it says closed for repairs. And there's a handwritten sign there. It says, "So am I. Gone to L.A. Back when I get here. Luke Cage, parentheses, Power Man." What's this, though? Gone to the coast? And I just came from there. Nuts. I can remember when all of us heroes had our handful with New York. Wow, those were the days. Everyone roaming around, bumping into each other like living chessmen playing for justice against the villains. I've made some pretty good friends like that. But I've never even met Luke Cage, Power Man, and I'm not really sure I want to. This whole hero for hire bit rubs me the wrong way. I mean, being an adventurer is a special kind of life. At least it is for me. I'd never do it simply for money. So, that makes me an idealist. After all these years, I still just want to do something for people. And that makes me the Nomad. Since the American government that Captain America served tried to enslave the people, And there's a woman who screams, Bob. Now what? And by the way, while he was walking, people in the crowd were all staring at him, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Right?
He's got his uniform on. It's all torn up, and he's just sort of like strolling down the sidewalk with his hands clasped behind his back, deep in thought.
Now, I will say, when this whole hands clasped behind his back, does that remind you of anything?
Does that remind me of anything?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In episode 103,
Okay.
we covered Mythos Captain America. In episode 104, we had the artist,
Okay.
Paulo Rivera. on.
Yeah.
And you remember we talked about the young, sickly Steve Rogers pre-serum who was
Mhm.
standing in
On the
40
corner?
on the corner
Yeah.
with his arms just like this.
Yeah.
And
That's right.
Paulo said that when he did his research, and he did a ton of research for Mythos,
Yeah.
because it's a period piece, that he saw there were a lot of people who walked like that back then because it was, shortly after the Depression, and there was a lot of people who didn't have a lot of food to eat. So you could only walk like that if you were thin.
Interesting.
Do you remember that?
I do recall that conversation now that you brought it up, because it was sort of a lengthy conversation that we had about that one particular illustration in that issue. Yeah, he was watching across the street, and we saw that change over time. What was across the street? Sure, yeah.
And here is Steve walking like that now.
Interesting.
So what do we see in this bottom panel that Nomad turns the corner, everybody's running away, and he goes towards the trouble. What does he find?
Well, it's another bank, and there's a bunch of folks trying to get in with a security guard trying to prevent them. So it looks like to be another run on a bank.
It's another bank panic. It is happening all over town. And we turn the page. Turn 4 pages, actually, lots of ads. And one of the, I guess, pedestrians overhears Nomad say that out loud. You bet it is, buddy. And for what I hear on the news, the whole East Coast been hit. And the banks haven't opened yet in the later time zones. You know why I think this is happening? No. Why? Because the government's been mismanaging the economy for years. Now the lid's about to blow off, and they need a diversion. Just like they did with the Committee to Regain America's Principles, got the goods on Captain America. You're wrong. Cap was innocent. Ha! That's what they'd like you to believe. But they can't fool me. If he was innocent, why did he disappear right when that White House stuff hit its peak, huh? Ha! Haven't got an answer, have you? Me? What can I tell him? I deliberately didn't explain why I quit to avoid announcing what I'd seen in the White House and adding fuel to the fire. I never dreamt anyone could see a plot in that. Mark my words, Captain America was the biggest crook of them all. Blast. Why can't I ever remember how complex life is today? One action can spark 100 reactions, 1,000. Everything grows, mutates. Mutates, of course. Professor X said Sam might be a mutant. There are two sides to Steve Rogers, his personal life and his duty. His duty always takes precedence. And we see a phone ring. So Cap is at a phone booth, and on the other end, who is it, Bob?
It's Hank McCoy, the Beast.
And the blue furry beast. Professor Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. Youngsters speaking. Hello, Beast, is that you? Beast? Who, mysterious stranger, is the Beast? Look, I know you have to protect your identity, but this was Captain America. I have to speak with Professor X. Sorry, sport. Nobody here but us chickens. Can I fill your bill? I hope so. I'm looking for the Falcon. He's been missing for 3 days, and I just remembered that he might have some business with you people. Is he there? It seems you are, you Cap. You and the Falk are the only ones outside of us merry mutants who would know what the prof said. But I'm sorry again, amigo. I just stopped by the school for a visit, and nobody's here. Not even the professor. I haven't seen hide nor feather of your friend. Still, I wouldn't worry. I know from experience that mutants need time alone to come to terms with what they are. For example, it's taken me years to realize you have to be what you have to be. And we see a close-up on Steve's face and his eyes widen. Why isn't anybody in there, Bob? Professor X? Everybody's gone. Do you know where they are?
I don't, but wasn't there something going on in the Giant X-Men #1 around that time?
It was exactly, yes. Giant size X-Men #1, which was a little bit of a big deal in the comic book world.
Yeah. I might pick up one of those one of these days.
Yeah, I hear they're a dime a dozen. So he hangs up the phone. And by the way, could you read what that panel said where he hangs up the phone?
Area codes for New York.
Yeah. I couldn't make it out even with my reader, so I had to get a digital copy. And then I was like, oh, yeah. I thought maybe my copy had like some faded lettering there, but no.
No, just.
Yeah, but out of nowhere, Bob, we see Red Wing.
Sky!
And we turn the page. Red Wing, where's your master? Where's Falk?
Squee!
Okay, I'll follow you. What is it now? What emotion floods the nomad's soul at this sudden, most unexpected break in his futile search? Pleasure, purpose, or premonition? And he lands on the rooftop.
Scream! Sky!
And what? Oh, Steve looks horrified by what he's seeing because from our angle, we see something similar to what was on the cover, except the Captain America that was on the cover is hanging upside down. His foot, his one foot tied by rope onto the chimney, and he's hanging upside down. And Steve looks horrified. Roscoe! Oh my God! It's Roscoe! He's dressed up like Captain America. It must have been he Layla was.
Scream!
Oh, someone's still here. And he looks over on the other side. Falcon. I mean, Falcon, he doesn't look very good here, Bob.
No, he's got his arms bound behind his back. His ankles are tied together, and like he looks like he's drooling, for crying out loud.
Yeah, it looks like there's cuts and bloods on his legs, and yeah. Cat, the kid, Roscoe. I know, Sam. I saw. What kind of fiend could do this to the two of you? And he unties Falcon. Cap, it was the Red Skull. The Red Skull. He's back, Steve. Back to have his revenge. He said he captured Roscoe and me, thinking he had you. When he found out it wasn't his Captain America, he went nuts. Started screaming that he hadn't devised his greatest plan to waste on a kid. He slaughtered him, Steve, and beat me to a pulp as a warning. We turn to the next page. He wants to triumph over the best, he said. He wants the real Captain America. And we zoom in on Steve's eye. He wants me. Slowly, numbly, the nomad straightens, unfolds, and he clenches his fists and he looks up at the sky. Dear Lord, can't there ever be an end to this insanity? I don't want to be Captain America. And then he turns his back to Falcon and looks over the edge of the building. I'll fight the skull as the nomad, but Captain America is dead. He died the day his ideals did. The skull is looking for a ghost, a phantom, and a fool.
Scream!
CA lived in a dream world. He was born in 1941, at a time when the American dream filled all of our hearts. He willingly went to war against the Red Skull's kind because they wanted to destroy that dream. But now, with the White House suicide and everything since, from the moment I returned to life in 1964, at the beginning of our Vietnam War, I felt out of time. But it took number one to make me see just how wrong things have been while I've been away. And who's number one, Bob?
Well, he was the leader of the secret empire, Rick.
The people who had custody of the American dream had abused both it and us. There was no way I could keep calling myself Captain America because the others who acted in America's name were every bit as bad as the Red Skull. Silence. Every bit as bad as the Red Skull. And yet, I didn't want to know about those people. The Skull was okay to oppose, and still is. But number one wasn't, because he was supposed to be on our side. Oh, Lord. If I wasn't prepared for any and all threats to the American dream, then What was I doing as Captain America? I'm not the poor, abused hero I've been telling myself I was. I'm not even a fool. I'm a failure. I thought I knew who the good guys and the bad guys were. I thought, as usual, that things weren't as complex as they are. And I couldn't understand how the good guys could put their faith in a man so bad. But my naivete is my problem, not America's. The country didn't let me down. I let her down by not being all that I could be. If I'd paid more attention to the way American reality differed from the American dream, if I hadn't gone around thinking the things I believe in were 30 years out of date, then I might have uncovered number one and stopped him before it was too late. I guess what I'm saying is there has to be somebody who will fight for the dream against any foe, somebody who will do the job I started right. And God knows I can't let anybody else run the risk that job entails for me. And he looks off panel to Roscoe. So he jumps off the building. Go take care of yourself, Falk. I'll be back as soon as I can. What about the Nomad, Steve? Is this the end of him? The man Nomad is won't die, Falk. Everything he's learned will live on. Only now, once again, it'll be as... And we turn to the last page. And what do we see, Bob?
Oh, thank goodness, Rick. We've got Steve Rogers once again attired in his Captain America garb.
And it says Captain America in his red, white, and blue logo. Whatever the threat, wherever it originates, I won't be blind again. And he's now into his Captain America uniform and sliding the shield over his left arm with a stern look on his face. And underneath at the bottom of this gigantic splash page, it says, 34 years ago this month, Joe Simon and Jack Kirby created Captain America. There are many risings and advancings of the spirit. Next, Cap versus the Red Skull.
That's an interesting turn of phrase, don't you think?
The risings.
There are many risings and advancings of the spirit.
It was interesting. I didn't know really what to make of it the first time I read it.
Huh. And the second?
I don't know.
Okay. I wondered if it was like a quote or something, or I didn't look that up, so I don't know that. But okay.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just tired by the time he got to page 19.
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bob, what'd you think of this story? I mean, listen, we've had 8 issues where Steve Rogers is not Captain America. And this has been quite the journey. And here we are back. Cap's back, baby.
Cap is back finally. Like, yeah, right? Because, man, this is like first time this has happened, right? So could have gone either way. Readers didn't know, right? They didn't have that experience to fall back on. That he's always going to come back. So this could have gone on for a lot longer. So I did like this issue. I like this sort of the introspection as he's running across the rooftops. He's talking to different people. He's thinking about the journey that took him here, and I like that the beasts sort of planted some depth. What do they call those things? Depth charges, I think in his subconscious in that short conversation that sort of blossomed, a little bit later. I like that you have to be what you have to be is what he told him. And that didn't resonate right away, but I think eventually under the right circumstances, it really hit home for Steve.
Yeah. He finally realized that Captain America is the person he was meant to be.
Right.
And that it is a heavy weight to bear and that really he doesn't feel right letting someone else bear that weight. And so he's making a sacrifice to come back, to be more diligent and not let something like the Secret Empire happen again.
Right. Yeah. Or to let something like Roscoe happen again. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta say, I was a little shocked, surprised by a couple of the racist remarks in here, but it was 1975.
Was 1975.
I'm not excusing that. I'm not
No.
saying that makes it okay, but I am uh, explaining it on why we're seeing it.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know. We didn't really dive that much into it with Steve, but a lot of the writers back then, yes, they worked in New York City, but I'm not sure they traveled in particular circles. And so, I got to think that a lot of like their perception about how Black people talked, how they there's the culture of Harlem, all this sort of stuff is based on TVs and movies and other pop culture.
Yeah, I mean, back then,
right?
this yeah, the black exploitation movies,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So you're seeing sort of that just sort of replicated here. So fortunately, for the most part, days gone by and a lot more integrated now in terms of, understanding and diversity and things like that. So
All right, Bob, I think I go first.
you do. Favorite
do.
panel?
I do. Favorite panel. Well, I really wanted to pick this. All right. I'm actually going to go with something. I'm afraid that you're going to take something, so I want to like take it now, but I'm not going to do it. So instead, I'm going to go with what I want.
Do it. Just go with what you want.
Page 11, panel 1.
Okay.
It is the one where Steve is upside down looking inside Sam's office.
Interesting.
Because it is an interesting perspective. Like, when was the last time you ever saw Steve Rogers upside down?
Yeah.
Looking inside a window. That's a Spider-Man trick.
How is he even doing that?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
But I just thought it was an interesting take on Steve, number one. Number two, I liked the window shades and the shadow from that into the office, and some stuff shuffled on the desk, with his phone and papers, and you see a calendar and all that. It just, in one little panel, it really set the mood.
Yeah.
And it had a little bit of a noir feel to it, which, I don't know if you would have gotten with the Sal Buscema, right? Like, say what you want about Frank Robbins,
right.
Anatomy. I mean, the panel right before this probably gets picked on by, very often, right?
Yeah.
Because he's got his right leg bent and at the knee at 45 degrees and is going backwards, his left, 45 degrees, going forward. He's got the one arm out with the wrist down, and it's a very dynamic pose.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't see from a Sal Buscema, and
right.
and quite frankly, Robbins probably gets ridiculed for that. But then you follow it up with this panel, and again, it's a very noir, very moody, unexpected panel.
Yeah. No, I like it. I like it. I think you've defended your choice quite well. And yeah.
All right, Bob, what's your favorite panel?
Well, I got to go with the one right below that, Rick.
Oh, with the petting the cat.
Yeah, he's petting the cat. I love this panel, right? Because he's busy. He's looking out for his friends. He's there's an urgency. He's traveling across the city. He's trying to scare up some clues, but he takes the time to get some grub for Figaro and to give the cat a pat, because obviously the cat's been there for a while, lonely. hungry, but Steve takes the time because that's just the sort of guy he is, right? Yeah. So I got to go with that.
Yeah, I like that. You know what? We should all take some time to pat the cat every once in a while.
Indeed. Indeed.
Yeah.
I may do that later.
What's going on your t-shirt?
All right. Well, I have sort of a quirky one for you, Rick, and it's around page 16. It's after Cap that reveal where Cap sees Roscoe tied upside down to the chimney, and it's that first panel upper left where he goes, Roscoe, oh my God, it's Roscoe. And I love this because if you had that on a shirt, like 99% of people would be like, what?
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Yeah.
Right. But Cap fans would know what that means, right?
You know.
Yeah. And it's just such a rendering of Steve, in his anguish with his fists, clenched at the side of his head in sheer like agony over what he's seeing.
You know what I would want to do though if I had that on my shirt? I would
Yeah.
have that on one side, and then I'd have the classic, the scream on the other side. From
Dolly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd have
right.
that on the other side.
Very nice. Yeah. So it's a quirky selection, I admit, but I'd have to go with it.
All right, cool.
And yourself?
Well, I'm going to go with the very last page.
Ooh,
Where
yeah.
Steve's back in uniform, and he's putting it the shield over his left arm.
Yeah.
Like this probably is the best Frank Robbins Captain America I've ever seen.
Yes.
And
yeah. It's a nice rendering. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Good. All right. And how about your time capsule, Rick?
Well, there are definitely a few to choose from in here.
There's a lot, yeah.
But I'm gonna have to go with Gamecock.
Okay.
First appearance of Gamecock.
Yeah.
I think that is totally something that we all should celebrate.
Yeah.
He the next time Gamecock appeared,
I think it was not much, but much later, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was much later, like almost 100 issues later or something.
Yeah.
Was it that
more
many?
like 200.
Was it 200?
Yeah, so it was in 1990, issue 371. Do you remember that one? The special, why that was special?
I don't recall. No.
Tom Boyd would.
Oh, it was Diamondback's date with Steve.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's the next time Gamecock shows up in the Marvel Universe.
Right. Wow. Talk about pulling an old character out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Out of obscurity.
And if you want to hear that one panel by panel, make sure you check out episode 67 for Steve and Rachel's first date.
Nice.
What's going in your time capsule?
This was tough for me, Rick, because there were quite a few things that caught my eye in this issue, but I gotta go. I think it's around page 11. It's when Cap was talking to those folks in front of the first bank who were concerned about losing their money. And he reassures
$20,000.
Yeah, he reassures them. This panel, the middle right panel, this panel was brought to you by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. And he basically does an advertisement for FDIC insurance, deposit insurance. Now in 1974, the amount went up to 40,000. So this obviously, I think you said this hit the rack in November.
December
right.
74.
So from 1969 to 1974, the amount was 20,000, but probably I think December 31st, the amount went up to 40,000. You know what it is now?
I'm afraid to ask.
250,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So 250,000.
All right. Well, then I'm barely covered.
Your deposits are insured, but I thought this was a great public service announcement. Timely. Right. Yeah. Because it was accurate for the time.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a neat thing in a comic.
Mm-hmm. No. Yeah. Good selection for a time capsule. I like that. I like that selection. All right. I already mentioned next episode we're going to have the fifth of the Captain America comic book fantasy draft. So if you're not familiar with that, it's a lot of fun. We do it around fantasy football draft time. We do it around the NFL draft time, and essentially it is we just we all start with the character Captain America, and then we draft other characters to form our story, and we go back and forth like any particular draft would. And so, what the goal is, you're going to form a story and do a pitch at the end of the episode of with the characters that you picked. Now, you gotta be flexible because characters have been known to have been sniped by others. And so it's a little challenging if you have your heart set on a few characters for your particular story. It gets a little stressful, actually. Um, there's a little gnashing of teeth, and usually me going, "Son of a gun! You
What
took,
the
yeah,
fudge?
you took my character." So come back next episode for that because it is always a lot of fun, and we have a couple of guests on the show. Um, Bob, we do have a question sent in from a listener. You might have heard of this particular listener. His name's Tom Boyd.
Oh, indeed. Pip, pip, doodly doo, Tom.
So he emailed in to capcomicfans@gmail.com. And if you have a question for Bob or I, or the both of us, you can send that in. And it could be cap related, comic related, MCU related, or it could be Rick and Bob related. It's up to you. But Tom's question is basically, I'm interested in the process you take when commissioning your Viper portraits. Now, what he's referring to is last year, 24, I started branching out into getting commissions from artists that are, let's just say, known for their lovely ladies and to draw Viper. And so far, I've had Frank Cho, Adam Hughes, and most recently Phil Noto. So those three are in. And so Tom wants to know, how do you contact the artist? How detailed is your commission request? Do you specify a pose? Do you provide reference? Do they ever not know who she is? And he says, I'm thinking about doing something similar for Diamondback. Surprise, surprise. And I guess I'm worried that because she's been portrayed so differently across the decades that my vision of her might get lost. Um, so I'll answer this, Bob, but give you the opportunity if you have any thoughts. But um, I contact the artists generally through their websites or through their social media channels, or if I'm at a show. So normal ways. How detailed? Some artists like being given detail. Some artists, feel like rather than have a blank slate, if you have something in your mind that you want, go ahead and give it to me. Other artists, they like to be a little bit more free and, have the freedom to do something. So I try to be somewhere in the middle, and I try to let them know, um, here's here's the costume that I like. Like a Steranko costume with the holsters, going across both hips. I like that. Um, uh, I like the classic look of the hair over her right eye, but it could be the long Steranko hair. It could be the short Mike Zeck hair. You choose. Um, I want to make sure that she's beautiful but deadly. And then that's it. I leave it at that.
Yeah.
Now, we usually decide, is it full body? Is it a bust? Is it a three quarters? And of course the size have different pricing and things like that. And sometimes, like for Phil Noto, I was like, I love your classic style. Here's a picture of Jim Steranko's first. And, if you want to use this as a reference. That's the only time I've done that. The others
Mhm.
I did not. So it really just depends on, your comfort level, right? At the end of the day, I'll say, I want you to have fun with it. Um, and so for Frank Cho and Phil Noto, they've never done Madam Hydra before. So I think picking a character like Diamondback, um, sometimes, gets the juices flowing because they're like, I've never done that character before, or I rarely do that character. So they may sometimes put a little more into it. And also, if you are, one of several people reaching out to them about doing a commission, they might pick yours because it's a character they've never done or rarely
Mm.
do. And so it's a challenge and might interest them, as opposed to doing Batman for the 15th time or, that week. So that's the only advice I give.
Yeah, that makes sense, Rick. I mean, I think that's good advice, right? And I think for a guy like Tom who really likes Diamondback, and I think has an image in his head of Diamondback. It really is sort of threading, or not threading the needle, but walking that razor's edge between, wanting what you expect, but also giving enough license to the artist to, in some cases, maybe reimagine that character, particularly if they haven't really drawn that character before. So it could be a bit of a mixed bag depending on how much guidance that you give, but it could also yield some really amazing art. So
Yeah,
it's
that's good. It's a good point. And when
yeah,
you say that, it makes me think, Bob, like, I guess it really depends on what do you hope the end product is.
right.
Is an end product of you have something in your mind and you want that artist's version of it,
Yeah.
then be specific. Is it, I love this artist and I just want to see them do this character, however they do it, because I just love that artist,
Right.
then be more, open.
Yeah. Could be erratically rethought, Diamondback, hair color, hair length, all that sort of stuff. And you might get something that really amazes you, but it's not what you expected, but still very cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So why is my pink Diamondback green and look like Viper?
Yeah, it looks like Power Girl. That's
Yeah.
weird. Yeah.
Speaking of Power Girl, one time I was at a show. This is years ago, and Howard Chaykin was there, and I I I had my sketchbook, and I asked him. I said, can you draw Power Girl for me? Because I knew he draws a busty woman, right?
Yeah.
And so he was like, Power Girl. I don't even know what she looks like, and I was like, well, I didn't have like something handy to show him.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, she's got like short blonde hair and she's got, you know, a large chest. She's got a little hole here in the middle. I was like
Uh,
hoping like that rings a bell. So
yeah.
he just draws a woman with big boobs. I was like, all right, thanks.
Yeah, but this sort of Viper, Diamondback with Tom, I may have to like start doing the whole Sergeant Duffy sort of collection, right?
I talk about getting the artist's juices flowing.
There it is. Give me a grizzled NCO, staff NCO with a cigar and a couple scars.
Yeah,
Go. Yeah.
I like it.
Fun.
All right, Bob. Any final words before we end the show?
No, but I am so looking forward to next week, Rick.
It'll be a lot of fun. Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, folks, please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. We really appreciate the thumbs up on YouTube and subscribe there, or leave us a comment on YouTube, leave us a comment in the Facebook pages. And again, if you want to send us a question to answer at the end of the show, you can send it to capcomicfans@gmail.com. For Bob Lucius, I'm Rick Verbanis, and thank you for listening to another episode of the Captain America Comic Book Fans Podcast. Figaro!